boy! Wimp.
I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia.
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light. All the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for B4.
What can I do? People know the truth.
Shut the fuck up.
What's true? That's why we gotta shine a light. Oh, shine a light, shine a light. We gotta shine a light. Oh, yeah. Together forever. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. The Unity Channel. Zero News to now. Tom Generation Next. We're gonna shine a light. Generation X.
Yo! Let's turn the camera around, yo, kind of yo. Hi to everybody on Getter. Hope you're all okay in America. And I've seen people signing up now from other places around the world, such as Finland, China, India, and again, America, Australia. It's been pretty cool. And the same thing before I closed my other YouTube channel down was beginning to happen, and that was that we were definitely hitting a global audience rather than just UK, which was really cool. Because the other thing as well is that any warnings we can give to the Americans, to you guys over there, we want to give, because I thought maybe your constitution would protect you, and it does to a certain extent. The Constitution in America protects you from rapid change, from idiots. You can have executive orders and stuff, but the Constitution is very, very binding. And it means that it takes a long time to amend anything, which usually gives enough time for madness to pass. Whereas here, yeah, but with that said, there are people now determined to tear down your constitution, tear down that stuff. And we've had it all here. And so not only do we want you to watch us and see us as a society rise or fall, because we're brothers and sisters, I guess, and we're on the same side, and we, the Western world, but also because we want, even if we go down fighting, we want you to not have to go through the same. Because the reality is, no matter if you've got a big country like yours or a small country like ours, the reality is the same. The reality is the same. In terms of, well, in this country now, nobody feels safe, and they don't feel safe because the streets aren't safe. They don't feel safe because the people in the country aren't people from the country, and they don't feel safe because their own government isn't protecting them. In fact, they don't feel safe because their own government is demonising them for having any complaints against any of the behaviour that's going on. If we go on X now, or we go anywhere to complain about the stabbings, killings, and other things that are going on in our country, we just get met with a wall of people calling us racist, the usual boring stuff, and all this other stuff, when you're just pointing at multiple crimes that are from a nearly identical demographic every time, and are obviously a failure of policy. And we keep going, and I am going somewhere with this. So I don't know if this is related or not, but I was talking to Vin this morning a bit about lack of motivation, and I haven't had much of a lack of motivation recently. Who have I got on there? Hello, hey, how you doing? I can't see. Oh, is that Joanna? I have got my glasses with me today. Good to see you, Joanna. So yeah, I am going somewhere with this, and that's if we're going to be in a fight. It's like Vin says about why we do this, right? It's about trying to give people hope and trying to have a rational, common sense point of view that it's not just working class, but it's just pervasive. It's common sense. It's what we all know as a majority, but the minority is trying to confuse our children and everything else into thinking differently. What was the test they're now going to start doing on your children? Oh yeah, just as a sidebar here, this is fact, your children, as well as all the other things that they've been doing to them when you're not looking, when you're at work and everything else, they are now, bear in mind, they are targeting nothing in women about their bad behaviour. So we are once again treating it like men have bad behaviour because they're the patriarch and women don't have any bad behaviour, okay? This is insane. Every generation that goes past, generally speaking, gets better at the way we treat women, even like whether it's from in the bedroom to how we take them out. Generally speaking, we get better with each generation, with a few hiccups here and there. So you're best to leave these things to evolve, a bit like free speech, because they do evolve. Communities evolve without any need for government interference. But no, teachers are now going to be watching your sons specifically. Let me get that out of the sun. Watching your sons, and they are going to. Yeah, I'm sorry about yesterday. The battery ran out. They are going to be targeting your sons at the earliest ages of possibly under 8 years old, but definitely from at least 8 years old. At least 8 years old, and possibly a lot younger. They're going to be looking at your sons for signs of misogyny, which they will. Now, if they're looking for signs of misogyny, which, as you know, isn't the raw meaning it used to have. It's now just used for everything they don't like. Again, it's like one of those terms. This means they're going to be looking for behavior. If you look for something, you'll find it, is my point. If you're looking for wrong, you will find wrong. And they are going to be taking your kids out of class and giving them some kind of bollocking, and possibly you as parents, because of something they perceive as misogyny, which I can almost guarantee, because there's no actual real misogynist, especially at school, it's just going to be they're going to pick up on any random statement. And remember, kids are allowed to say stupid shit. They're kids. But no, that's not how we're acting. We're acting as though if a kid says one thing wrong, or says something that sounds a bit, ooh, let's assume the worst about their home life and about their parents, and pull them out of the class, and break the misogyny out of them. Do you see where that's going? Like, so they had control of your kids with the COVID thing. They've had control of your kids in a lot of ways. They can remove your kids for a lot of reasons. A lot of those reasons are class reasons. If you look at a lot of the reasons why people don't do well with the social services, it's not because of their willingness to help or anything else. It's often to do with the way they speak. And the social services don't like the way they speak, because they don't understand the fact that that's how working class people speak. And they don't like it. Doesn't measure up to their standards. Anyway, so with that in mind, measuring up to their fucking woke standards, Imagine your male children who, even the women who were part of feminist movements now agree that what they did to men was a mistake. They neutered them, they made them whingy, whiny, bitchy, crying all the time. A lot of women said that yes, they wanted more sensitivity from men and stuff like that, and that was cool, but what they got instead was fucking man-childs, baby men, and it wasn't what was hoped for. Come on, Sue. It wasn't masculinity that those women hated, it was just lack of right. Sue! Susie! The fuck are you doing? Sorry. You know fucking better. You know better. Give me my heart going my fucking throat. You keep up. Trust you, girl, for a reason. Sorry. Apologise. Sue. 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 Do me a favour. Sue. Sue. Look at me. Sue. Sue. Look at me. Eyes. 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 Okay. Go. Sorry. Now I've forgotten where it was. Fuck's sake. I tell you, these walk and talks with dog just do not work. Every time I try. And it winds me up. And it's not her fault because she's just been a dog. But I start to get angry anyway because it's hard enough keeping hold of the memories that I'm losing every 5 seconds, let alone having to deal with this shit. Which is why I might go home and do a live stream this afternoon from the safety of my laptop. But I did want to ask a question, so I want to get this fucking question out if it kills me. Sorry, but I'm losing the professionalism on the stream now. Fuck it. Right. So here's my thing. So you know in the past I thought about quitting. I'm not thinking about quitting now. But I must admit the uphill struggle is kind of the but I've also realised that like to do the podcast that I know I can do, I need to have some. I'm not doing it the same way I did before, so I haven't got my ducks in a row. I don't think that's the end of the world, like doing things differently than I did them before. It's not the end of the world. It's just last time I knew so much. It was all in here all the time, as in, you know, how I wanted to do things, everything else. But that is coming together, so it's not that. It's not that. So in the background, I've been running, as I always do, a little analysis on this, analysis on that, an analysis on our situation. And I think there's multiple factors that could affect my motivation. When I say motivation, I don't mean my will to create. I love creating. I love making the videos. It's trying to create hopeful messages, trying to create positive courses of action. And this is not to do with having a smaller channel. This is to do with, even if I had a bigger channel, we'd have the same problem. Trying to come up with positive courses of action. When I think that the analysis that's come back to me after maybe even months of boomeranging this in my mind, I'm not sure how long it's been. Because what I didn't want to do is obsessively think about something and then come up with nervous, obsessive answers. So I've given it a long time to think about it, to let it marinate. And I think one of the, like I said, there's a few aspects that have affected that. It's not that, again, it's not that I'm not motivated. It's that there's a certain focus you need to cross the threshold from making an effort to being obsessed and being just a workhorse and getting things right, perfect. And it's a level of focus that and I think one of the reasons, but I hope this doesn't come out wrong. I think one of the reasons why I've struggled maybe with what some people might call motivation, and I wouldn't really call it that, is maybe because I've been hiding away from something that I don't know is the truth, but I do know it's my constant assessment. So imagine like a bat sending out an echo signal, and it gets back a signal, but then it ignores that signal that it's getting back, because it doesn't trust itself to be the almighty, right? Hey Vin, hey buddy, good to see you, mate. Sorry I didn't see you. And that voice that's kept coming back in an echo has been telling me, geez, this pond's about to overflow. That hasn't been like that in years. It's literally about to overflow. It's never been like this. Look at that. Sorry. I feel that, where was I? Shit, where was I? I feel that the echoes that have come back to me. I've been presenting a pattern to me that I haven't wanted to kind of admit, and that is that I can't work something out. And for the few of you that will see this video, I would really honestly love your feedback, because I can have whatever feelings I want. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry about that. I can have whatever feelings I want, but it doesn't make me right. But every time I've sent out an echolocation to the situations that we're facing over the last few months, I keep coming back with something that I keep ignoring, and that thing I keep ignoring is, have we already lost? I'm listening to people talking about small battles that we've won as though they're wars. I'm looking at people going in all different directions, definitely not in the same direction. And people are taking small victories in Hollywood as some kind of big turning point. But that turning point's been promised for the last 4 years from Hollywood, and it's still not happened. We're about to go into a World War III. If we don't, we've got civil war on the horizon, at least civil unrest, and a broken economy. What part am I missing where we're winning here? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yes, we are. The right has become privatised, and in a way it's strengthened certain parts of it, and there is a more open policy on the right now to get our views out. It's still not like a news network, which I still believe we should create. However, I believe it should be independent, and I believe that some of us should be working together to create that. And do you know what? Not just create it for ourselves, but for other people to join in as well and offer whatever they want to. No pride, no ego, just this is a place where, you know, anybody who just submits something half decent could just, doesn't need to be under anybody's name, does it? Just put out good videos on a network, you know? Everybody gets their credits, everybody gets their dues, nobody gets jealous. I still think that. But the reason I wanted to ask you a question was, and especially for the replay views of Evgeny, is, have we lost? Like, and I don't just take this based on the last few months or the last year of Keir Starmer. I mean, this has been going on through government, and I will come to your comments in a second, going on through government. It's been going on over 40 years. The institutions have been ripped down. The country, we are being replaced by the worst people in the world that we can find. No matter which government we get in, it doesn't stop. It just speeds up or stays the same, but it never slows down. Everybody can see the damage it's doing, and nobody's doing anything about it. By now, even the governments would realise what kind of danger they're in. They're not stupid. They may be ideologues, but they're not stupid. And so I guess I need to know what I'm fighting for. Am I fighting for am I still fighting for a non-violent political solution? Can we still win? Win in the way that life could go back to relative normal after some years of sorting out? Is that a possibility anymore? Or do you think that both, especially with what's happened with Starmer now, what's happened over the last 40 years, the demographic change, the militancy in our country, the selling off of our country, the weakness of our country, Do you think there's too many things happened? Come here, Sue. Come here. Sorry. Do you think there's too many things happened now? Do you think, stop, come here, here.
This one's fine. Just
Yeah, she's a bit of a baby. She'll go and say hello and then she'll run off. So.
Okay. Oh no, it'll be fine.
Right, it's alright, chill.
No, keep
It's alright. Nice and chill. Sue, stay. Alright, cheers, guys. Good girl. Come on then. Good girl. Sorry about that. Yeah, or am I fighting for the stage after that, where it's no longer about where I've got to, I guess what I'm saying is, am I fighting for something where I've got to accept that the future is, they've already won the future, and what we've got to create is a rebellion, or or an island, if you like, of our culture. I guess that's what I'm struggling with. What exactly, I've always known what I'm fighting for, and it's always been a massive splattering of hope. And if I say to you that I don't see a lot of hope in the situation, I know it will be misinterpreted to mean depressing, down, oh, I can't see any hope. No, that's not the kind of hope I'm talking about. I don't mean heartfelt hope. I mean hope as in tactical and logistical. More than hope, maybe probability would be the better word. What's the probability at this point that we can reverse the worst of what's going on? Bear in mind, it's happening all over the world, not just to our country, so you'd have to keep it out and contain it within. Have we got to a point where this is just uncontrollable now, and that we've let this grow, all Europe did, let this grow out of control, and now the end is inevitable in one way, shape or form? And let me add some context to this, because again, it's not about hope, because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have some hope. But understand that the Roman Empire, the second most successful empire in the world, but also Babylonian, the Egyptian, all of these empires finished or fell pretty much in a similar way. And as much as I hate to admit it, they rejected their gods, and they started to reject sexuality. And they didn't start to, they did reject sexuality. They started to go for debauchery. So, but first, they threw away their gods, they threw away sexuality, they did a lot of the things that we're doing now. You can look this up anywhere. This has happened through multiple empires. Most of them fall in a very similar way. Get to a certain point, they throw away their gods, and for a period of about, sometimes up to 40 years, after throwing away their gods and starting to use practical common sense, the society actually flourishes, it rises. But the sexual debauchery seems to go off the scale. The denial of reality and truth is mirrored. The bastardizing of genders is apparent in nearly every single one of those cultures towards the end. There are actually, if you could be bothered to look it up, or if you want me to do a video about it, I'll show you the amount of parallels go into the double figures of major points that we're going through right now, that all these empires went through and none of them recovered from. Not one single one ever managed to get over that blip. So what we're facing right now is not just what's happening in the UK, but globally, what we're facing is something that humanity has never actually managed to conquer before. We've never managed to throw our gods, to throw away facts, to throw away knowledge, to do all of that. And don't forget, the Roman Empire did become more woke. So for those thinking that Yeah, but the Romans were still bloodthirsty and all the rest of it. No, listen, towards the end of the Roman Empire, they shut down gladiatorial games. I think it was closed for about nearly a century. And then they reopened it again for a while. And then the woke class really closed it down. You've got people who just see the Roman Empire as a monolith of never changing. The Roman Empire got more humanitarian as things do, but with that goes the woke brigade. And let me explain that. So they did good things like stopping the gladiatorial games, because they didn't want humans treated like that whilst having slaves. But, sorry, excuse me, I'm out of breath. At the very same time, they were attacking gender and attacking the armies. And then, the biggest mistake of all, they'd been fighting with their enemies for years. And their enemies, unlike what many people think, weren't just savage barbarians. That's the Romans' point of view. And it was also their justification most of the time for doing what they did. If the wind gets bad, let me know in big capital letters. So, it was the, sorry, I'm gonna lose myself again. Roman army. Yeah, it was the people that went woke and started to say that the barbarians that they've been fighting, that they had basically taught to fight better than them, who were using comparable weapons, unlike what history tells you. They also then decided to make their society multicultural. They needed the extra manpower, and standards were slipping. So they made it a multicultural society. And for a while, it thrived. Until it didn't. Until people who had been in the Roman army for years, been part of Rome for years, had sold out Rome because they weren't Roman, because they were Germanic, because they were, I mean, Arminius is the most famous example, but there's many others. These people turned against the Romans because they were never truly Roman. And the Romans knew this in the beginning. The Romans knew not to trust people like that in the beginning because they knew what would happen. But over time, you know, the people got their way and Rome became weakened and weakened as a result, not of necessarily taking people from other places into their army, but the way they did it as well. And just the fact that if you're fighting for Rome and your back's against the wall, you're fighting for your survival. These people had tribes to go back to. They had other lives they remembered. The stakes were different. So, I know I'm getting a little bit off track. I'm not really, but probably sounds like I am. Anyway, before I carry on, let me catch up with the comments because I'm losing my breath a bit. Oh, shit. Hey, Matthew, good to see you, bud. Hello, mate. You're playing games again, no mini player. This means I can't watch Tom in the chat at the same time. I've been playing around with OBS last night. First time in ages. I forgot how much I enjoyed using it. But I don't know that it's going to be the answer to my problems. Simply because I just don't think my connection's good enough. Simple as that. The hardware's good enough, I think, but the connection's not. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna have a play because I think it would be useful for things I can use it for. There's a lot I can, but there's a couple of things I'm uncertain of. But I'm still gonna try it out because I enjoyed setting up last night and I forgot how much I used to love OBS. And I forgot why I got it. Not OBS, sorry. I got StreamYard originally because I was one of the first people to hear about it, and it was literally, I think my OBS had gone wrong, and like I needed to do a live quick, so I was just like, there must be a program, but all these things are web based, And that does make it a pain in the arse using your mobile phone, because everything on your mobile phone is pressing the back button when you want to go backwards, except when you do that on the internet, obviously it goes back a page. So it's not intuitive, because the button does completely the opposite thing of what you want it to when it's on the internet. Meaning, yeah, mobile phones are kind of backwards in that way. They're twisted because nobody really thought about it. So you press back when you're in a browser window, then you've just thrown yourself out of a studio. You got to go through all the login process and everything again. Right, 1 second. Go. So I think that what you saw in the Roman Empire, and again, there's things I haven't even mentioned because I don't want to say anything that I don't get accurate, but the things that I have mentioned are absolutely accurate, and there's a whole list of other things, you know, Sue, Sue, come here. Sue, stop, come here, all right, stay with me, beep, 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 beep. Stop, stay with dad, sorry about this. Another one. Can't control the fucking dog. I hate it because I'm getting ready to tee off on the dog, and that's not fair. But considering considering when I was trusting people and their dogs, she got fucked up for 8 weeks without being able to walk because the dog ran her over, basically. I'm defensive over her now. So if I see them coming at speed running at her, I'm just like, right, I'm knocking you out. I haven't, but yeah, she was, yeah, anyway, doesn't matter, off topic. Right, let me brighten this up a bit so I can see your answers, see how much battery I've got as well. We're not doing too bad since lowering the bit rate. Okay, glasses. By the way, shout out to Steve. I'm sorry, Steve, that I haven't been able to get things going. By the way, have I, Dave, have I made you a mod? I have, haven't I? Hopefully I have. Hey, Min, great to see you. No worries about going to bed. It's good to see you. International decline that the Roman Empire became a bank. Yeah. We are facing a financial crisis. Many still do not see. Yeah, absolutely, we are. Why don't they see it though? Not just here, but the whole flat monetary system. We are on the edge of a death spiral debt, and we are neither alone or the worst. In fact, the other thing is as well is that people have been predicting this for years, and the only thing that slowed it down was the interest rates dropping at one point. But yeah, why aren't people taking this as a more serious story? It's very true. 1%. Oh shit. Yeah, okay, so Rome cut the, no, where has it gone? Oh, fuck's sake. Sorry. Rome cut the amount of silver in their coin. Exactly, there was loads and loads of ways in which they had to. Because they were overstretched, out of money, and they also couldn't help but F themselves over, because they still had that air of superiority, and they would not, they would capitulate in a humiliating ritual and then try and double cross people, which would then get caught, and then they would invite more calamity on themselves, rather than wait till they got stronger like they used to. But the later periods, the Roman armies were not, it was a bit like the end of the British Empire, when it didn't really have the capability that it looked like on paper. And I think it was kind of a similar thing. It's like the Roman armies used to be devastating, and they just weren't anymore for multiple reasons. multiple reasons, which are too numerous to go into now because it's not really a history lesson, but I'm sure we're on the same page anyway. Roman Empire, known for cross-dressing and poison and murder in his court for fun. Yeah, I mean, they were most of what people don't realise about the emperors, they talk about Nero and Caligula. A majority of them were fucknuts. I mean, I love the Roman Empire, by the way, and I don't think they were all terrible people at all. I think that's kind of ignorant. But they did, I mean, Augustus himself, even though he was a complete hypocrite, wanted to the people at least, to present an air of almost piety. And he wanted to go through Roman history to find out, you know, where their sort of piety had come from, where their good strengths were, where their noble beginnings were. And he went through the history books that they had and found that there were noble beginnings. It was betrayal, murder, war, betrayal, murder. He couldn't find that. He couldn't find that beginning to be patriotic over, those morals that they were fighting over. They weren't there. So he had to make a few of his own up. But he also had a bit of a crisis of faith in his own ideals then, because he realised that the Roman Empire was built on some pretty negative things, and hadn't really changed. But again, this is coming from the hypocrite that was sleeping around and doing all kinds of weird shit. So, you know, a new normal as possible will not be the same. For fuck's sake. This chat on here does do my head in, guys. The normal YouTube one doesn't, it's this. Oh yeah, a new normal is possible, I agree with you. What I'm thinking is, do we have a possibility of getting the England back that we had? Not, and when I say had, I don't mean in the 1950s. I don't mean in the 1950s. What I mean is, well, it's like, for instance, London's lost. Birmingham's lost. And other places are lost. How would you reconcile that for a start? You know? I suppose these are the things that are all going around in my head. It's like, how do you reconcile that? And then go forward with a hopeful message. Because already that looks like we're going to fall back into tribal kingdoms, something we haven't been for about 1,200 years. So it's quite the regression. You know, people, many of us have been saying for years that they were going to turn us into a third world country. Well, that's exactly what that would mean. I don't know. At the same time, like I say, it's not that I don't have hope. It's that I can't be delusional. I need to know that what I'm fighting for is real, tangible, doable, even if it's really, really difficult, especially now with the new channel and everything else. Even if it's really difficult, I need to know what's plausible and what's possible, and that's what I'm arguing with myself about at the moment. Because once I know that, then it's okay. Make plans around what's doable, and I think it may be that I'm right, and that we've got a bit of a car crash future coming, and that we do need to help each other out on a community level and everything else. And on a movement level, I think we need to create an alternative news network, an independent news network, or at least an independent group of people that keep the honesty going. And this is why I'm going to withdraw. As some of you know, I was a member of UKIP, and nothing to do with hating Nick Tenconi. I like him, I've done interviews with him. Nothing to do with not putting a vote on UKIP or anything else. Nothing to do with that at all. To do with the fact that before I started this, I didn't believe in political parties. I haven't done most of the time. I decided to roll the dice a couple of times just to see if my apathy could be turned into something more useful, because I felt completely apathetic about voting. I felt completely apathetic about political parties, and part of me thought, whilst you're doing Zero News and all the rest of it, perhaps you owe it to try. So I tried joining for Britain, and I've joined UKIP, and I will not be renewing my membership with UKIP. Not because of them not getting in power or anything like that. Not because I don't like Nick Tinconi, not because I don't like their policies, but because I feel divided a bit by the religion. Not that I'm against religion, people know that, but I feel divided by it. And I feel also that I just don't have faith in political parties. They're not the same as us. They may be brilliant. Like Nick Tinconi may be really good at what he does. He may be really good at protests, but he's still a politician. At the end of the day, the truth is only going to come from people like us. The truth is only going to come from independent people with nothing to lose, everything to gain, and who are sticking to the original mission of telling the truth. And that's why I also want to make it clear, I don't have any ties with Urban Scoop anymore, or any of them, because of the fact that, not because I hate any of them or anything like that, because of the fact that I want this to be my own success, but also I need people to understand everything I say comes directly from me. Everything I believe comes directly from me. I'm not holding back because of anybody. There's nothing I'm gonna maybe gloss over like I had to in the past sometimes because you're representing a company. That's all over. That's done. Finished. So, you know, and it's not like I ever stopped telling the truth. It was just certain things you had to word differently, and, you know. Yeah, and nobody told me that. Listen, and I want to make that clear. Nobody ever said, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. It's just like if you're working for a company, you feel like you are representing them, yeah? So I'm away from any kind of affiliations like that. I have my friends like Vin and Danny Roscoe, and we don't influence each other's content. Which is why sometimes we report on the same thing, sometimes we're on completely different things. And I think that's great. I think that's how it should be. And I just hope there's many more people that join us in being independent. And I just hope I can get this channel up to scratch again, because I want to help. I can't at the moment help new creators. I can't at the moment put people over. I can't at the moment go to Noyo and Jones. So I need to get the YouTube channel back up to scratch. But I am really grateful. Again, I say it again, I am really grateful to those on Getter. You guys have kept the hope going when the rest of it was going down a little bit. But what was I going to say? But yeah, so I just want to know what, if anybody's willing to comment, I want to know what you think about our chances going forward are. What's our best chances? What's our most realistic scenario to come out of all this? Where do you see this going? Do you think civil war is inevitable? I might even do a poll if you're willing to come over, but do you think civil war is inevitable? Do you think it's civil unrest? Do you think national strike? Do you think, or something else? I mean, let me know. You know, there's at the moment, there is take your pick of doom. And I would really like to know where you guys are at. One, because it gives me parity with where I'm at. But two, I want to see if we're in the same mindset, because that's very telling. It's very telling, the answers that people give. So this is, yeah, so you understand, I'm not asking this question as a sly way of getting you to interact. The way people react to questions like this can really be very, very useful. It's why I used to do the polls on my channel. They were very specific polls, and they told a story, which I was able to use in later podcasts, you know. So I am interested to know, because even if I'm completely off base, I'm still interested in what the consensus sort of thinking is at the moment. Whether people think we're doomed, whether people think we just need to wake up. See, what I'm trying to do, and I'm scared of waffling here, but what I'm trying to do is be realistic, not doom us to having no chance, but at the same time not be naive with my head in the sand, and realising that things are changing on a monthly basis, and certainly on a yearly basis. So 2 years ago, some of the things that I've been saying would fix things probably won't anymore. So you've got to be updating and a lot of people don't update their knowledge. They're working with knowledge that's 10 years old. You've got to update your knowledge every year, especially now, every month. Things are changing so fast. And that's what I think a lot of people aren't doing. And so you hear these people talking about us winning. just because some things aren't as bad as they used to be, others are far worse. Yeah, it's, I think it's very concerning. You got Starmer inviting councils to cancel elections, and someone needs to draw some attention to this, because what they're doing is they're gatekeeping. Like, in all this stuff, the Conservatives don't want it because they could be wiped out. Labour don't want it because they know what will happen. So they're gatekeeping, trying to keep reform out as long as possible, in the hopes that they can, defame them, do something, or wait for them to lose favour with the public before they even consider that. That's the minimum they're up to. The maximum they're up to is far worse. But the minimum they're up to is gatekeeping. So they are, and this is not the first time, they keep offering them to put elections back. Not only does it show obvious fear, but when you've got, I don't remember many times in history where there was a political party that, when, say, Labour was in the shit, or when Conservatives in the shit, that the opposition didn't jump all over it. No, they're both in the shit. So they're both in on it together. Bitter enemies in on it together. Are they bitter enemies then? Are they? They've been handing the baton off to each other for years. And we've been buying the idea, or some people have been buying the idea, that they're on opposite sides. I'm sorry, but they're blatantly not. They're blatantly not. But I'll tell you something. I'm not a Farage guy. But I will say something, and that is they must be legitimately scared of him. To be holding these elections back. To be gatekeeping. There must be some real, legitimate concern. And what makes that particularly interesting is, I'm sure if it's just a case of losing power and then winning it back again one day, it wouldn't be so terrifying for them. But what seems to be terrifying is the fact that if Reform keeps even half of its promises, it will mean a major shift for the UK. Not that I believe it all yet, but you know, got to give people a chance. And if they do win power, yeah, it's very interesting that they are so scared of reform. It suggests that, hey Sue, it suggests that while I don't trust them, it may at least be worth watching this space, because I would have thought that if they were all in the same boat together, acting together, as in Reform and Labour and Conservatives, I would have thought they wouldn't have been showing the same kind of fear. So my one hope is that Reform actually does have the courage of its convictions, and that it may make a difference one day, if it's ever given chance, if we ever get as far as elections, if, you know, God knows what happens in the time between now and then. But this is why the Labour Party, the Labour Party, the people in it, the people in the House Lords, everybody, if they truly give a shit, which we know they feel, but if they truly give a shit, what they need to do is they need to get Starmer out, they need to stifle Labour up, they need to push for a general election so that they lose majorities of stuff, even if they can't win. They need to do everything they can to stuff and slow down Labour. That's all they can do, is slow them down, but they need to slow them down as much as possible. Because it's like, I'm not one of these people that really like saying, well, this guy will be better than who we've got now, because it's like, it's the lesser of two evils. And I don't think our politics should be about that. It should be about, this is somebody who is inspiring and it makes me believe that they're actually going to try their hardest to make the country better. But that's not how I've felt about voting ever. It's always, who's going to do the least worst job? Who seems to hate the people the least? That's if I've ever voted, that's been my strategy. Who seems to hate us the least today? You know, this week. Beep. Beep. Come on. Come on. Here. Here, Sue. Here, Sue. Right, ready? And go. So yeah, you know, I've got my deep dark reservations. Anyway, let me try and catch up with you guys. I'm sorry for going on. I don't know how much data I've got, so I thought this might switch off if I had a chance to get everything out. Tom, why do you think I've never joined any political party? I studied them and realised they're all the same. Well, the thing is, Steve, right? Honest truth, I never signed up to a single political party in my life because I've always believed that politicians are all full of shit. What's the point? What was even the point in voting? And then a load of people made me feel bad when I joined the movement. Like, oh, people fought for your right to vote. And I'm like, yeah, but if there's not a vote there for me, if I'm not allowed to make a vote of no confidence, for instance, then there's no vote for me. But they were trying to make people feel guilty about it. So that was what started getting me voting. Stop, come here, stop. Sorry, 1 second. That's what got me voting. And then the political party thing, again, it was because I questioned, I think it was Anne-Marie Waters, and I had an interview with her, and I just questioned her on what made her think she could do something. And, you know, she put me in the position of, and it was a fair position at the time, but she put me in a position of saying, well, back us and find out. Well, I found out. And, you know, for all best intentions, it didn't work out. But, like I say, they are a politician class. They're a class of their own. And they do what they do to succeed at what they're doing. It's not about necessarily what's... Yeah, so, sorry, Steve. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it was because I'd always seen politics, even when I was a kid, as being absolutely pointless, because it seemed like the game was rigged even when I was about 12 years old. And then when I joined this movement, a lot of people said to me, if you got that attitude, then how do you expect anything to change? And I fell for that. So I started supporting political parties, and I'll be honest with you, be totally honest with you,